will come up with far-reaching conclusions for greater efforts in mobilizing.
A fresh edition of our program, Close Flow, here on NTA2 Lagos. I must say that there is some pleasant coolness to the day because of the nightly rains, but we'd like to also spice up your Monday morning with our discussion with our guests for today. The program, as always, we say to you, we try to bring you something a little more exciting, a little more interesting, and that's what we're doing again this morning with our guests. It's my pleasure to let you know that we have a guest in the house who is a graduate of international relations from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. He is a strong advocate of social engineering. He has also is boasting of extensive experience in leadership, over 20 years in business and his professional career. He has, over these years, shared this experience both within the Nigerian economy and the international marketplace. My pleasure welcoming you, or welcoming on your behalf to our studio, Mr. Dipo Famakinwa.
Good morning.
You're welcome to the program.
Nice to be here.
Thank you. This is Close Flow, and what we do here is to have a flow of conversation, which is no holds barred. You can say whatever is on your mind, just as long as you respect other people's reactions. And we're going to be getting a lot of phone calls here this morning, so I hope you're ready for us. Mr. Famakinwa is the chairman of the Planning Committee Development Agenda for Western Nigeria, which is acronym the DAWN. This is a regional grouping that we'll be talking about, extensively in this program. Let me ask you first, what do the Yorubas want in the Nigerian Federation?
Well, you just said it. In the Nigerian Federation, the Yorubas, or the Yoruba, if I might correct, the phrase, the Yoruba actually want true federalism, or what you would call federalism. If you wake up any Yoruba man or Yoruba woman, and you ask him or her what he or she wants out of Nigeria, it is the kind of federalism that would enable the Yoruba to develop at its own pace. What we have right now, you would agree with me, I am not going to be the first person to say it, it's very much in the public space, is what you can call a camouflage of federalism. This is absolutely not a federalism. We had seen federalism in Nigeria before, and it worked for us. What we have right now is over-centralization of power in Abuja. And Abuja, therefore, has become some kind of behemoth that is actually constraining the rest of the country or the federating units from developing.
At their own pace.
At their own pace. I would say, perhaps, and I'm sure that I'm right, the priority of the Yoruba people is possibly not the same as the priority of the people from the north, or the priority of the people from the southeast, or from the south-south. I believe development is about priorities, and it is local. This is not to say that one component of the country is saying that it will rather
be
alone. It is just saying that it is the strength of each of the component units of this country that would lead Nigeria to greatness.
Okay, all right, that is succinctly put. But quickly, if you go back to the 60s, because you said federalism had been here before and it paid, it worked for everybody. So going back to the 60s, apparently that's what you're referring to. Going back to the 60s, what was the quest for the Yoruba in the national federation, as it were, or in the need for a strong federation? What would it?
Well, I'm sure you would agree with me that the glorious days of the Yoruba were in the 60s that you referred to, in the days when Chief Obafemi Awolowo was the premier of the Western region. And again, some other parts of the country will tell you that that was also their glorious years. Those days were their glorious days. And what happened then was because we have regional development. The Western region, the Northern region, the Eastern region, they were able to mobilize their resources, their talent, their intellect to develop their regions in line with their priorities. That was what happened then. But the coming of the military imposed a unitary system of government on the rest of us. And it has put us in a cul-de-sac that has, in so many respects, limited the capacity of each of those regions to develop at their own space. So in providing an answer to your question, what stood us out then was because we had regional self-government, and we were able to mobilize our resources, our talents, our capacities, and the people, towards development in line with the priorities.
Okay, well, again, there seems to be, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just a change of language or a change of terms. But everybody's talking about, because you just referred to it again now, that everybody's in a cul-de-sac. You are being handpicked by the central government. So marginalization is the word. That is the buff word now that everybody's using. So who is marginalizing who, or who is being marginalized?
Well, it's because we are talking of a Nigeria that is not working. That is why people talk about marginalization. Everybody then therefore sees a large pot in Abuja where we must all run to and take out what we can quickly grab out of it. That is not how it's supposed to be. I am sure the average Nigerian will tell you really that he is not particularly concerned about who is the president of this country if he can find development at his or her doorsteps. Under normal circumstances, when you have what you refer to as true federalism, power is supposed to devolve to the regions, to the federating units. Power, capacities, opportunities, development possibilities are supposed to devolve to the federating units. But when you have a Nigeria where you have to go to Abuja every month to ask for your own share of the national cake, which in many instances is not actually baked by everybody, then you find a centralization of power and a centralization of resources that draws everybody to Abuja. That is when people will begin to say, you are not giving me my own share. I am not having enough share of what is in this pot. But if we stay in our own regions and we build the cake, nobody, I tell you, nobody will begin to feel about marginalization. However, Nigeria is for everybody. It's for us all. And it must be seen to be fair to everybody, irrespective of who is in power. And I think that was why the Constitution set up the Federal Character Commission. What is happening in Abuja right now, if you see the statistics, is very appalling, especially skewed against the Yoruba people. But we are not, I argue, we have had situations where when a Yoruba man was the president of this country for 8 years. But what happened? It is the system in Abuja that continues to throw up this kind of anomaly, and all of us, every time complain about marginalization.
Well, this is off the cuff now. Don't you think that the question of the strong federation came on the back of the civil war, on the need for a unifying factor, and therefore there was a need for a strong federal government that can make sure all the, as it were, federating units can begin to look forward to and say, okay, yes, everybody is part of this center. Don't you think that is right?
I can assure you that Nigeria will be stronger if we have true federalism. Right now we all complain of all kinds of things. The Boko Haram people are saying something to us in their own language. Some other people are also saying it in their different languages. It is because people feel Nigeria is not serving them. Putting all of us together by force. In any case, Nigeria was not, nobody sat down with the people of Nigeria to say that we want Nigeria. If, however, we agree that Nigeria is better together, then let us talk about the kind of Nigeria that we want. This is not the kind of Nigeria that we want. We know the kind of Nigeria that we want. Everybody knows that the kind of Nigeria that can serve the people of this country is the Nigeria that provides opportunities for everybody to develop at their own pace. Okay? It is not a Nigeria that has what people now refer to as feeding bottle federalism. Everything must come from Abuja. It is what Abuja says that must be done. It is what pleases Abuja that must happen in Sokoto. It is what pleases Abuja that must happen in Ipetumodu. It is what pleases Abuja that must happen in the remotest parts of this world. You would ask yourself, what does the Inspector General of Police, for instance, what does he have to do about policing in my village? He doesn't even know that environment. He doesn't even understand what is going on there. So this proclivity to want to put us together by all means, at all costs, and sometimes even by force, is what has negatively impacted upon the growth and development of this country. If we have true federalism, Nigeria will be a much stronger country.
Okay, now let's quietly let this stream down into what we're discussing here this morning. The dawn. What are the compelling reasons for this initiative? What are the key compelling reasons for this initiative?
Well, the compelling reason really for me is development. We looked at ourselves and we said we have suboptimized, in so many respects. And we've lost our competitiveness.
When you say we, I mean Nigerians?
I mean Yoruba? And you can even talk about it in terms of Nigeria. However, the Yoruba people at some point began to have what I will call self-realizations about certain things. And they decided to take their destiny in their own hands, saying that, well, we cannot allow, or we cannot continue to, or we cannot afford a situation where Nigeria will remain a constraining factor. Is that a possibility for us to look inwards and see how we can work together within our region, the component states within the region, how they can work together, leverage their competitive and comparative advantages, leverage their synergies, and bring about certain kinds of development that we have always wanted in this environment. The average Yoruba man will tell you that he wants infrastructure, because give us the infrastructure. We are not lazy people. If we have the infrastructure, we will do business. If the average Yoruba man will tell you that he wants quality, sound education, because that is what we have always been known for. It will tell you that he wants healthy living. These things are not possible under the kind of environment that we have, unless we pull ourselves together, put our resources together, and begin to harness those resources, just the same way we did when we had those glorious years that we continue to refer to.
But just like you said, though, those same glorious years also reflected almost, equitably, in all the other regions. I mean, the Easterner probably will tell you that he wants infrastructure so he can do his business. Yeah. He wants good health so that he can do his business. He wants good education so he can do his business. So it's almost like ditto for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So why can't we have it translated into the Nigeria that all of us, one way or the other, we all clamor to be good for everybody?
That's the ideal.
Okay.
Okay. That is actually what should happen. The Abuja, or let me say the federal government in a federalism should be concerned with issues of enabling the component parts of the country to function effectively. Okay, should be concerned with the issues of defense, issues of foreign relations, issues of national security, and allowing the component parts to become hotbeds of business possibilities and business opportunities. Okay, right now we have a federal system that is not allowing that, and we said we cannot allow the destiny of 40 million Yoruba people to continue to be put on the line because of this kind of circumstance that we have found ourselves. And that is why I said the compelling reason for this dawn agenda is development. We want to bring development to this region.
Okay. Now, this initiative is by the Afenifere Renewal Group, right?
Well, the Afenifere Renewal Group became a midwife of the initiative. It was loud and clear that the Yoruba people wanted some form of arrangement that would, especially after the 2011 elections, where we had people who could possibly see eye to eye and speak the same language. It became very loud and became very clear that the Yoruba people were looking for an opportunity to reenact those glorious years. Afenifere Renewal Group became a midwife of that process. We took up the gauntlet to say, okay, yes, let's even see how this is possible. So what happened was that we have a body based in Ibadan called Yoruba Academy. Afenifere Renewal Group gave Yoruba Academy a remit to prepare some studies to show that what we are talking about is possible. Okay, so it was a study that the Yoruba Academy did that led to the development agenda for Nigeria, development agenda for Western Nigeria strategy roadmap.
Okay.
The strategy roadmap was crafted by some of the best brains in Yoruba land, irrespective of political parties, technocrats, bureaucrats, from all walks of life. And we sat down at the University of Ibadan Conference Center for 3 days, feeding from the study that came from Yoruba Academy, and the strategy roadmap came about.